So this is going to be advanced details on thumb pulling if you are interested in thumb pulling. So some of those details might be, how do you know whether or not you are or aren't doing it right? Or maybe even, well, how long am I supposed to do it and all that stuff. So this is what I'm going to be explaining. And I have done this for about 30 to 40 days and I actually have seen results. Yes, now I might not have seen quite literally physical results on my face, but I have seen it with my teeth. Quite literally my teeth shifting. As crazy as that sounds, yeah, so that might sound really absurd. So first off, how often do I thumb pull? Well, when it comes to getting results and Wolf's Law, basically doing it more and more will actually speed up the process. And in this case, for me, if you haven't seen my previous video on mewing and thumb pulling, then go check out that video. But to keep it really short, I do about 60 seconds and then I move that up to 90 seconds and then to 120 seconds and then 180 seconds. And basically the bottom line is to make sure that you are thumb pulling around every hour for 9 times a day, about for 180 seconds if you really want to see very quick results, especially in your teeth, because it's pretty interesting actually. You can literally see it. And not only that, you can feel it while you're mewing. Now, how exactly do you do the thumb pulling? Well, I have explained it once again in my previous video, but just to go over this again, you are basically taking your thumbs and you are putting them into your mouth. And when you put them into your mouth, you are pulling apart. Now, this is actually something that is a little bit more detailed that I did not include before, and that is that when you are doing this thumb pulling and you are starting to achieve results, the thumb pulling will actually be less quick, or the results from it won't be as quick. And that's because you aren't actually able to put your thumbs together like this anymore, because your jaw is actually getting big enough, and instead you are having to pull like this instead of being able to use the force between your wrists and push with your wrists. So that's a little bit of a detail there. So when you are actually getting results out of this, you will notice that your jaw quite literally is your palate specifically is actually getting even bigger, and in the process of your palate becoming even bigger, the thumb pulling will actually become much harder. Now, where exactly are you pulling? First, you are pulling on the bone, and secondly, you are also pulling on the side, preferably if you can, that is the non-stagnant side, which that might sound very strange, but I do actually think that people have a stagnant and a non-stagnant version of their face, and it's basically the version of their face, which is the half of their face, and more specifically the sutures in that area that are actually changeable, and the other half that are not as changeable or much harder when it comes to changing them. Now you might say, what the hell are you talking about? But this is where we come to the personal experience and quite literally being able to see whether or not you are doing the thumb pulling correctly or incorrectly. Now, if you are doing it correctly and you are doing exactly as I said before, basically, where you are doing this every single day, for multiple times every single day, you will notice something very interesting. But you first have to figure out which side of your face is the stagnant part and which side isn't the stagnant part. Now, for me specifically, I think it is my right side. So what you can do is you will literally take your thumbs after you do a little bit of thumb pulling, and then you will put your thumbs on that side of your face. So basically on the right side of your face like this. Now, when you do that, you will notice that if you press for about really hard for about a second or half a second, you will actually quite literally hear a crack. Yes, that's right. You will literally hear your bones cracking. That's an indicator that you have split your suture. However, if you haven't been thumb pulling correctly, or maybe not hard enough, let's say, and you try to do exactly that on the non-stagnant part of your face, you will notice that you actually don't hear a crack. Now, if you don't hear a crack, that means I don't think you have actually split the suture. However, if you do hear a crack, and that's a really good indicator that you have split the suture, because you wouldn't be hearing that cracking otherwise. So once again, what you're doing is you're taking your thumbs and you're putting them in your mouth and you are pressing once again on the side that is not stagnant, and you will be able to hear whether or not there are or aren't cracks occurring. And once again, if there are cracks occurring, that means you are doing this correctly. Now, it actually might also be possible to make your face more symmetrical in this case, yes. And the reason, this is similar to Chico Lukowski, maybe he's a little bit extreme because he most certainly actually has developed very well, especially his face symmetry, because if you see, his face symmetry is pretty pretty symmetrical, unlike many other people. But basically, to keep it really short, you might actually be able to change your face symmetry. And this is because, once again, you are doing this through Wolff's Law. And if you haven't watched my video on Wolff's Law, go check that out because that'll explain it in a lot more detail. But to keep it really short, you will be able to change whether or not the maxilla is either higher or lower, specifically whether or not the non-stagnant part of your face, the half of your face, is either balanced or not balanced in comparison. And once again, you do need to be doing this daily, this thumb pulling daily, in order to see results. And I, for that matter, have seen results. And just to give you a little bit of results, more specifically the examples, you can see that for my palate specifically, actually, it has widened a little bit. And not only that, there is one tooth that made mewing quite literally actually hurt a little bit. Yes, and that is because I was literally sticking my tongue there, and when I would suction in all of that air, there would be this one tooth sticking out, and basically it was spiky, and that was not really that comfortable. However, with thumb pulling and speeding up this whole process, I actually would be able to mew comfortably, or much more comfortably than I did before, which is very interesting. So once again, I hope this really does go to show you that thumb pulling really does work, especially when it comes to speeding up the basically growth and the making sure that your palate is actually becoming wider even quicker. Thanks again for watching. If you found the video helpful or informative, please go click my Cerule link, actually, because you will be able to speed up this entire process, I think. Yes, I'm not joking when I say that. And if you do, one, you will be able to speed up the entire process of face pulling if you're using stem enhance, and plasma flow, less so Cyactive, unless you have other problems. Regardless, hopefully you can understand though where I'm coming from, because if you have seen my previous videos on how this stuff works, then this will speed it up. And also, I do think iodine, and for that matter, eating correctly will speed it up. So once again, go check out all of those playlists and basically me talking about that stuff, because I really do talk about all of that. Thanks again for watching. If you found the video helpful or informative, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below, because it really does help the channel grow. If you're interested in seeing all of my videos ahead of time, please click the join button down below, where you can see all of my videos ahead of time, as well as support me personally. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Pew. Pew, pew.